Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to review headlines of today's newspapers, and I'm passing the baton on to Mr. Steve.
All right, for the short time that we have, we'll go straight to this day on Saturday, the newspaper of record. The lead story here says, Rivers Assembly crisis. Fubara says no cause for alarm despite appeal court judgment. The riders basically, illustrate what is happening. Declares the worst over that's Fubara. Pro-governors lawmakers head to Supreme Court. Ask INEC to conduct by-election for vacant seats. Rivers of trouble. They're still dealing with their issues, but of course, with the appeal court saying that, hey, those guys, they are still the lawmakers. They are still. They still retain their seats.
Yeah, but there's argument about whether the jurisdiction is is right, and even the way the case was taken. They were talking about these delegates, but were they statutory delegates?
No, that's a do.
Oh, absolutely. See, because there's been so many rulings.
That story is also here too, by the way, which is on page 6. Certified true copy shows court didn't invalidate Edo PDP primary. And on that, you will be right, isn't it?
Definitely.
That's what the judge simply said was to deal with what was presented to him, that you could include those 300 plus people who were not part of the primaries. But that, by implication, didn't necessarily invalidate the election of Mr. Ighodalo, the candidate of the PDP for the election. We saw the former deputy governor of Edo State already jubilating, thinking that there's fire on the mountain. But let's see how it goes. September is almost here for the election, and it looks like Ighodalo will still be the candidate for the PDP. Right. New UK Prime Minister Starmer announces cabinet hours after assuming power. Hours after assuming power. Keyword hours.
Yes.
Pledges to reset Britain. Tinubu describes the UK as a real model of democracy, Nigeria's long-standing partner. A real model of democracy. Is that an indication that the president might not mind the call for a return to parliamentary, election? Because these, I think the president likes returning, to the good old days, like we did with the national anthem. So maybe we might try parliamentary election, which we already have more than 60 lawmakers. We are saying that, is a lot more cost effective. And of course, if the president is saying that in 24 hours you can get an election, over, even with South Africa, maybe it's a lot better than the America for show kind of presidential election that we have copied. I think we should quickly take ATMs. CBN reads riot act to banks over alleged inhibition of cash circulation, says financial institutions conniving with POS operators to frustrate customers. If CBN is just waking up to this reality. I
mean, this is something you've mentioned multiple times on the show.
I mean, it has become a sing-song, for me. But I like the fact that at least they are responding to it. But don't just say that, don't just read riot acts. We know that they are conniving. Deal with it, get EFCC to also, work with it, to deal with it. Because cash that you can't find in the bank, you find it, with the POS people, right outside. The same thing with mint notes that you can buy.
The best place to get mint notes now is actually at weddings and at clubs, not at the bank.
You wouldn't find that. I mean, at the banks, you won't even get 20,000 naira, if you need it. But if you go to the POS, and many of them, they are saying, are owned, the POS operations are owned by people who work in the bank. So deal with this issue the same way that Bobrisky find himself or herself in jail, and the other guy had to forfeit 10 million. And he or she will be there for 6 months. He has spent 3 months already. I mean, that's, Do we have time for any other paper very quickly?
Yes, I believe so. We can take maybe the Saturday Punch. I mean, the major story, there are things we've already touched on. Lagos, Edo, Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, planned camps for flood victims. We spoke about this not too long ago with Gbadebo Road Survival, talking about the fact that, the Lagos State government had indeed told people that live in the lower ground areas to be able to move to higher ground areas. So now we're seeing those camps for flood victims, because what is important.
So beyond camps, I think what Gbadebo recommended is what a lot of people should think of, your wetlands. How are you protecting them?
Definitely.
An interesting story too on the cover of Saturday Vanguard, crude oil theft. Why government can't stop Lagos Abuja cartel. Pandev, Niger Delta leaders, activists are saying that, and that challenge President Tinubu to summon political will to stop it. The madness that is going on with the oil theft is costing us far more than what we thought that we were gaining from subsidy removal. I think that that's one area that President Bola Tinubu should look into.
Definitely.
You know, with the Moreras and the gangsters who have made that place, you know, impossible to control.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayoride.
And I'm Shaiton Atigari. From our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day.